Hi there. I hope everybody's good. Today I wanted to talk about stress and weight loss. And this topic specifically, I guess, is something I wanted to talk about now because I'm currently really affected by stress, and it's come to the point where I notice it's affecting my body, it's affecting my digestion, it's affecting my energy. So I thought I would just go ahead and talk about it to you as well, because there's a really strong correlation between, or a really strong connection between stress and weight loss. And it's not always an obvious connection. It's not a connection that many people know about, so it is often just ignored. So obviously we know that stress is an unavoidable part of our daily lives, and actually a certain amount of stress is necessary for our survival. However, the amount of stress that most people are under these days, myself included, is causing way more harm than good and can have serious health implications. So about 42% of all adults suffer adverse health effects due to stress, and up to 90% of all medical visits are in some way related to stress. And I myself just came from an appointment to my chiropractor, and it was all related to stress because my back, my shoulders specifically, are just really tense because of the stress that I am under on a regular basis. So stress speeds up the aging process and leaves us feeling fatigued and unmotivated. And not only is stress correlated with weight gain and the inability to lose weight, but it's also linked to a wide variety of diseases, including cardiovascular disease, diabetes, osteoporosis, gastrointestinal disorders, that's a big one, cancer, anxiety, and even depression. And the list probably just goes on and on. This is just from the top of my head. Going further, there are two different categories of stress. We have acute stress, which is the short-term form, and then there's chronic stress, which is the long-term form. Acute stress occurs when, for example, you have to slam on the brakes in the car, or someone scares you, you're running late. That's all short-term acute stuff. Now, chronic stress is long-lasting, and that's one that's linked to serious side effects. Examples of chronic stress are taking care of sick parents, feeling unhappy in your home, enduring a long illness, or a drawn-out divorce. And those are all things that, again, are underestimated, I think, how stressful they can be, because we get used to the stress because it's so long-term. Okay, getting back on track. So I like to talk about cortisol a lot. Cortisol is the hormone that likes to store belly fat, and it's released when you feel stressed. Here's the thing though, your body doesn't know the difference between emotionally stressing and a physical stressor. Stress to your body is just stress. When you feel stress, your brain is affected, and because your ANS, so your autonomic nervous system, cannot tell the difference between physical and emotional stress, we react in the exact same way from a physiological standpoint. So our body's reaction is the exact same reaction, whether it be a physical stress or an emotional stress. Whether it's something someone said, whether it's your laptop crashing, the fact that you're sitting in traffic and it's stressing you out, those are all emotional stress responses, although the body responds in the exact same way as if it was a physical stressor. So you're going to react the same way if you're thinking about being chased by a bear and getting stressed out from it, or you're actually being chased by a bear. The physiological reaction in your body is identical. Now, this is key, and this is what we're actually here for. Stress is related to weight gain because in order to fight or flee, you need energy. Cortisol is responsible for helping you receive the energy that you need, primarily by increasing your blood sugar. And what happens is that glucose molecules are then taken from their storage places in the liver and your muscle cells, and they're being put back into the bloodstream, and therefore insulin has to be secreted from your pancreas to come and take it and fuel the cells that need it with energy. On top of that, your brain signals a craving. More likely, your body is giving you a craving for carbohydrates, which is its preferred source of energy. So you give in to your craving, you have a muffin, your blood sugar levels rise, insulin rises, which is the fat storing hormone. It's secreted in order to transport the blood to the brain and to the working muscles that require the energy. But here's the catch. The muscles aren't working because there is no physical stress. You're just sitting at your desk and you're freaking out because maybe your laptop crashed and you're not doing anything physical, yet you still have that craving for carbohydrate. So you go and you pick up a chocolate bar or a muffin or your preferred source of carbohydrate on your way to the computer people who are going to fix your laptop because you're craving carbohydrates, and since it's comfort food, you know that it's going to help you feel better, and you probably even feel more relaxed the moment that you consume the carbohydrate or your food of choice. Because generally we're sitting and not moving for long periods of time when we're feeling stressed, guess what happens? The excess sugar you just secreted and ate in the form of carbohydrate will get stored as fat. And when you're chronically stressed, this cycle continues to repeat itself. We are all in a hypersensitive environment where our cortisol levels are always elevated, meaning we store belly fat more easily, especially in the presence of insulin or eating too many carbohydrates. The good kind and the bad kind, unfortunately, we're eating too much, and whatever we don't use as energy, the rest of it is going to be stored as belly fat. And belly fat leads to a variety of preventable diseases. So fear not, there's a whole lot of things that you can do to help your body deal with stress, to manage it better. And I'm going to give you a list of about 5 things that you can do to help your body deal with all of that. So the first thing you can do, and this is another thing that's so underestimated, but it's so effective when it is actually done. The first thing you can do is breathe. And most of us don't breathe properly. So the right way of breathing is actually to take in really deep belly breaths, or yoga breaths, as I refer to them a lot. And most of us breathe in through our chest. So if you put a hand on your chest and one hand on your stomach and you inhale, you can see that for most of you, the hand that's on your chest is the one that's going to be rising, because you're inhaling and the air just goes right into your chest. The ideal way of breathing, and the way that's actually going to help you deal with stress the best, is by breathing in through your belly. So you actually want your belly to come out, and this is something that we're always told not to do, especially as women. We should always keep our bellies in. But the right way of breathing is to inhale and collect the air in your belly, and you actually want to see your belly rise and fill up with air. And exhaling, you do the same thing. So by just taking 2 to 3 full belly breaths or yoga breaths, when you're feeling in a situation when you're in a situation that is stressing you and that is making you feel overwhelmed by it, take in 2 to 3 really big, strong breaths, and that immediately can change the way that you feel, and it'll absolutely help your body relax and deal with a stressful situation better. The second thing that you can do is yoga. Yoga is a great exercise that is not too strong. It actually helps you relax. It focuses on breath. So it's actually something that's going to help you relax as you're doing it. And it helps you focus on the moment and just get rid of everything that's going on around you that is causing you to stress out so much too. Okay, so yoga is a great thing that I also like to practice when I feel like there's just too much going on. Exercise in general, so this is the third thing, exercise in general is really good, but you want to aim for low to moderate exercise that can actually help decrease your stress because it increases your serotonin levels. That's the happy hormone. And it helps you to use some of the sugars up that you've secreted in your fight or flight response. Some of them, again. But it generally helps you relax, and it just lets your mind relax for a moment and step away from the things that are triggering you. Another wonderful thing that's also connected to breath is meditation. And meditation, it's just set your alarm for, if you never do meditation, set your alarm for 3 minutes or 5 minutes and just try to breathe and focus on nothing. And there's many guides out there, there's many apps out there. In my 5-day crash course to stop carb cravings, meditation and breath are actually in there as steps to take to help prevent carb cravings, because it's so effective to do these things, not just to manage stress, but as we see in turn, it helps you control the cravings that you get for carbohydrates. Okay. Time management. We all know that time management is a problem, but I can't stress enough is that you have to set priorities. Don't be afraid to say no to invitations if it's just too much for you to handle. I think we have tendencies to always feel like we have to go everywhere that we're invited to. And it's just physically not always possible. So don't be afraid to say no and really look at the things that are important to you and look at how much you can handle, because we have so much going on in our lives already. Organize your day, write things down, plan it. For me, the best thing is just to write all the things down that I have going on in my head. And then I realize it's not really that much. It's when we keep them in our head and we keep it unorganized in our head that little tasks seem like mountains. Okay, so just write it down on a piece of paper, use a planner, whatever works best for you. As long as you just get it out of your head and physically write it down onto something. Okay, delegate tasks. Is grocery shopping stressing you? Try a home delivery service. Okay, it's just little things like that. Just look at, even at work, delegate tasks, see if it's too much for you, get somebody else to do it. And ignore the perfectionist tendencies. So that's a big one that I always struggle with, because I feel like I always have to please others, and everything has to be perfect. So don't be afraid to deliver something that's imperfect. Easier said than done. I'm working on that too, but it's something where in our mind, just try not to worry too much about that. Take imperfect action and don't be afraid of it. Now, the last tip I want to give you, and that's always something that that's the first thing that people ask about when they want to deal with stress, is what supplements do you recommend? So supplements are wonderful, and I've personally started taking some, and I'll tell you which one I'm taking now too. But I want you to know that just by taking a supplement, it's not going to make the stress go away. Okay? And if you're not doing any of the steps, any of the 5 steps that I mentioned before, so breathing, yoga, exercise, meditation, and time management, if you're not doing any of those 5, supplements are not going to help you. Okay? So they're just an aid if you're doing other things, and it's kind of like, okay, I think I can add something more. They are beneficial, but they're not going to make a difference if you're not doing any of the other 5 steps. So a great supplement to take are B-complex vitamins. You find those everywhere, easily available. I would recommend a brand that you get at a health food store, just to make sure that you're getting a quality vitamin because there's a lot of crap out there, and take them as indicated on the bottle. They're all different, so there's nothing that I can tell you here that's gonna help you with that. The other supplement that's really good if you're constantly stressed is vitamin C, and that's nice because it doesn't only help you with stress, it helps you with many other things. It's a great antioxidant and it's great for your immune system, etc. Vitamin C, your adrenals are the organs that produce cortisol, and they get exhausted really quickly if you're always stressed, and they love vitamin C. So be nice to your adrenals and give them daily dose of vitamin C. You can go, I would take no less than 1,000 milligrams a day, and then depending on the situation, it can vary how high up you can go. The other supplement that I love and that I just started taking is they're adaptogens. So adaptogens are kind of getting better known at the moment. I find there's a lot of talk about them, probably because we're all stressed. So that I'm aware of, there's two different, I divide them into two different groups. There's ashwagandha, which is the berry, very popular as well. Something you can get at health food stores. It's amazing. And then there's mushrooms, adaptogenic mushrooms, not magic mushrooms. So mushrooms that I've tried are reishi, and I absolutely loved it. I took this during my nutrition exams because I was just so wound up and I was a terrible stress case and I couldn't handle it anymore. I wasn't sleeping at night. So I took reishi. And it really, I just felt like it really helped me deal with the situation a lot better. And now I remember it as a really positive experience rather than a really negative one, which it would have probably been if I hadn't done anything about the stress. And I love reishi, and anybody that's under chronic stress and like where you can actually tell where they're just super agitated all the time and you can just tell that they're constantly under stress, I always like recommending reishi just because of the personal experience that I had with it. But I also, or currently, I'm trying chaga mushroom. Just to see the difference, I like to try things and so that I can later share it with you. So chaga mushrooms are another ones that help you deal with stress, help you kind of stay a little bit more relaxed, but also still staying focused and willing to move on with your day. All right, so the supplements, as I mentioned, B complex vitamins, vitamin C, and then there's adaptogens such as ashwagandha and mushrooms, of which I love reishi mushrooms if you want to check them out. The brand that I have tried is called Botanica, so it's a Canadian brand, actually local, I believe, from British Columbia. There's many others out there, and now I'm trying chaga from, it's a different brand, but if you want to know, just ask me and I can give you more information. So if you have any questions about supplements in general, again, or any questions about this video, just post them below and I'm happy to answer them later on. And yeah, I'll talk to you another time. Any other questions that you want, any other Facebook Lives that you want to request, again, just comment below and we'll see what we can do about it. Have a great day.